Hello English 2 students. Today we are going to be looking at the presentation checklist and template for your mid-unit or background information presentation. This is where you're going to consolidate all of those notes that you've been taking over the past few weeks and kind of transform them into a logical explanation of your topic so that you can share this with your peers and practice your presentation skills before getting assessed for the final time at the end of the unit. Now, you are going to be taking notes on your handout as you watch this video, so make sure to pause the video when needed and rewind if you need to re-listen to certain parts. The first thing that we're going to go over is actually how long this presentation should be. I'm going to give you a relatively large time window, which is 5 to 10 minutes. The presentation really shouldn't be much less than 5 minutes. If it is, it means that you probably don't have as much information about your topic as you should. So a minimum of 5 minutes and really a maximum of 10 minutes. The next thing that you'll need to know is the format of this presentation. I am going to give you a Google Slides template. So Google Slides is going to be one of the options that you have for your presentation. The second option is Prezi. Now, if you know how to use Prezi, I'm going to go ahead and just allow you to do that. If you don't know, you can either teach yourself if you want a challenge on how to use a new tech tool, or you can just use Google Slides. Okay, but I did want to offer you a second option just in case you really dislike Google Slides for some reason. But most folks, you will be presenting on Google Slides. Okay, a couple other things that we should know before we get into what you're actually presenting on. How are you going to present? You are going to be presenting to one other group and self-assessing one another and giving each other feedback. Okay, so this will not be in front of the entire class like the final presentation will be. The next thing you need to know is that all group members must present part of the slides. If you are absent that day, you will receive an X for your presentation, and you will need to come in at a time outside of class and make up that presentation. So these are happening Thursday and Friday of next week. And so you need to make sure that you're in class. And so if you can't be for some reason, you need to let your groups know ahead of time and set up a time outside of class with me to practice presenting this information. All right, let's go ahead and jump into what you actually will be presenting on. This first slide on the mid-unit presentation template that you guys are going to get has all of the different pieces. And if you'll note, you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total categories that you're going to need to create slides on. Now, that's 8 categories, not necessarily 8 slides. So if you need more than one slide for one of these categories or all of these categories, you can feel free to do that. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the slides that you'll need. The first one is just your title page. Your title page will have the title of the research project, your issue, your topic, and the other country that you're going to be comparing to the United States, as well as your student names and class section. Okay, pretty basic first slide. After that, you're going to have your key terms. So this is where that key terms log from the research log comes in. These are all of the key ideas and just kind of big concepts associated with your topic. So you need to make sure that you have been updating that log. If you haven't, you're going to need to go back and do that today and over the weekend. Okay, so this should include the words and the definitions. The next slide is background and context information about your topic for the United States. Okay, again, these are kind of the key ideas that people should learn about your topic. What are the big issues associated with it? Next, you're going to do the same thing, but for your foreign country, okay? And this is where you'll want to make sure that you're presenting some of the same information that you did about the United States as it relates to your topic, but about your foreign country. After that, you're going to want to add your research questions in, right? And these you're going to take from your research question log, which again, you should be updating on your research log as you go. So if you haven't been, okay, today and over the weekend is your time to make sure that you are filling that out and adding that in. And so here we really want to see and understand your thought process during this research project. Where did you start? What big questions were you asking? And what questions are you asking now at the midway point? After that, You are going to see a categories within the topic, okay, slide. And this is something that you actually haven't learned yet. We will talk about this next week. You're going to be looking at basically 3 different sections of your topic. It's going to be political, economic, and social. And again, we'll learn more about this next week. And then over here, you're also going to have the works cited. Okay. I'm also going to give you a presentation exemplar, which is going to have, okay, just kind of a sample of what this could look like. So again, you will see here the title page, okay, some key terms on this topic of parental leave, right, and the definitions and the image that goes with it. More key terms. So again, you'll see 2 slides per, or for this one, 2 slides for that idea. Okay, next, the background and context for the United States. Background and context for the foreign country. For this, it is Finland. Okay, next, 3 main research questions that deal with this topic at this point. Next, yes, we actually didn't talk about this in the other set of slides, but your initial hypothesis, much like a science experiment, we talked about this in the beginning of the unit, you're going to have an initial hypothesis for how you think you're going to answer those questions, right? So you'll see here, kind of have initial ideas of what do I think the answer to those questions are, okay? And that will guide your research as you go. After that, you have those 3 categories of evidence, and again, this is the part that we have not yet learned about, and we'll talk about next week. Okay, and then last, the works cited for your background information. And that will wrap up the slides and the information that you need to present for your background piece, which is the first piece of this. A couple other points that I want to note, okay, as you guys are prepping for this today. Your presentation should be based in fact and not opinion. Okay, the only opinion that you should really have is this initial hypothesis slide, right? What do you think are going to be the answers to your questions? But the reality is that the answers to your questions are from your research. They are from fact. They are not from your feelings or your own experiences. They are directly from the sources you're looking at. So that's part of how you will be assessed, is are you giving fact and not opinion. We will be reviewing, okay, presentation methods next week. So things like voice, body language, delivery, speed, preparation, okay, all of these components of how to present effectively, and what you'll be assessed on by your peers and then ultimately by me at the end of the unit. We'll review next week. Okay, at this point, you'll want to go back to your worksheet, make sure that you've gotten all of your responses recorded, including the components that we haven't yet learned about. And you're going to want to try to decide with your partners, okay, what do you already have notes on, and what are you going to need to go back and add over the weekend as a result of seeing what the requirements are for this presentation, right? Do you have all of this information ready to go for a 5 to 10 minute presentation? Or are there parts that you need to go back and do additional research on? Okay, at this point, the video has come to a close and we will move on.